On Wednesday, the High Court of Belize made a significant ruling in the case brought by Michael Feinstein against the Government of Belize. Feinstein challenged the government's plan to forcibly acquire 23 acres of Stakebank Island, claiming it was unconstitutional. However, the court found that the government's actions did not violate any constitutional provisions. The Briceno administration had announced its intent to acquire the land back in August 2024, and now, with the court's decision, they have the green light to proceed. This ruling marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing saga of cruise tourism development in Belize.
As you all know, there's a legislation that was passed by the UDP whereby we deem this project of national importance. And now that it seems that between the different investors, they have been having issues, that project has been at a standstill. We have, I think, approximately $270 million. But because there's a dispute with the land, that project cannot be finished. And if you look at the numbers for the cruise lines that they're going down, we need to be able to finish that project. We believe that as a government, what we did is first to put the first notice of acquisition. What does that trigger? It triggers then the owner to come to government and to say, okay, this is my land, and they negotiate a price.
The Feinstein Group didn't hold back in voicing their objections to GOB's plans. They accused the government of siding with the OPSA Group, a Honduran company financing the project, which later got entangled in a legal dispute with Feinstein. The Feinstein Group also claimed that the Government of Belize couldn't prove that the land acquisition was in the public's best interest. As a result, the acquisition had been put on hold.
The end goal is vindication that the 23.4 acres standing in his name, which was issued to him by the Minister of Natural Resources, he validly holds title to it and it is lawfully his.
The Briceno administration presented the compulsory acquisition to the public as an attempt to resurrect the cash-strapped multi-million-dollar tourism project to save Belize's cruise tourism industry. Just days before the High Court's preliminary hearing, Prime Minister John Briceno dropped a bombshell on Open Your Eyes. He revealed that Mediterranean Shipping Company, one of the giants in the cruise and shipping industry, was keen on taking over the project. This announcement added a new twist to the unfolding drama.
They're saying, well, no, we'd be interested, but we don't want to get into this mess. The only way we'd be interested if this mess is settled and we buy over them. So that the only way we can do that is by compulsory acquiring the land.
That is why we're in court, because our instructions, the instructions from our client is that he does not believe that it is for a legitimate public purpose and a number of other grounds. And so his position is he intends to challenge that. Without the land being vested in the government, it can't be transferred to MSC or OPSA or State Bank or anybody else.
Well, after nearly 4 months of deliberation, High Court Judge Rajiv Goonetilleke delivered his verdict. He ruled that the compulsory acquisition of Stakebank Island is not unconstitutional and aligns with the idea of acquisition for public purposes. The Feinstein Group couldn't substantiate their claims, leading to the dismissal of their case. The ruling is a significant win for the Briceno administration. Looking ahead, the future of the project is intriguing, especially since Prime Minister Briceno recently announced plans for a similar development just a few miles away at the government-owned Port of Belize Limited. What will this mean for cruise tourism in Belize? Only time will tell.
I do believe that by the end of the next government, we should have a cruise port and a modern container port.
So does that mean Stakebank is dead?
That's not for me to decide.
But I'm saying that there's no sense in having two mega cruise ports in the Belize district within miles of each other.
But we all knew that Stakebank was short-term or to medium-term investment.
Earlier this week, that latest statement by Prime Minister Briceno received heavy criticism from Michael Perifete, the chairman of the UDP.
Sometimes I don't think he appreciates that he is the head of government for a sovereign nation, you know. By saying that this is only temporary, what has he done? He has essentially killed that project with his words. Because how do you go to cruise lines and say, come somewhere that's only temporary?
Interestingly, on January 14th, during an appearance on Open Your Eyes, Tourism Minister Anthony Muller was asked which port project in Belize he thought was the most feasible and practical to complete. He threw his support behind Stake Bank. Muller also suggested that both Stake Bank and the Port of Belize Limited could coexist harmoniously in the same area.
That would be Stake Bank, if I would look at it honestly, because that's the closest to being completed. We're working on a master plan for Port of Belize, which should be completed in March, and then, but that has two components to it: cargo and cruise, and they can work together.
Belizean investor Michael Ashcroft, who owned the Port of Belize Limited, has weighed in on the Stake Bank situation. He expressed his doubts about the government's true intentions for the island, adding another layer of intrigue to this developing story.
On something like Stake Bank, what's the plan? What do they need Stake Bank for? Is it a temporary measure? Is it a permanent measure? So until they sort that out, nobody knows what is going to happen on that. Nobody knows if there are secret understandings or arrangements. But at the moment, everything appears to be flat.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.